Hello, hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you so much again for just having fun with me. I mean, I just think when you think of all the hustle and bustle that we have each and every day, I mean, what are the chances that you spend a little bit of your day entering a makeover contest? It just sounds like something that is a little bit more outside of our normal daily stuff. And so I just thought it would be really fun to have you all participate in this makeover contest. So I'm so blessed that you said yes and that you are here with me, either catching it live as I'm streaming live into YouTube, or perhaps you're watching it on the replay. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what can we expect during our time together? So, first, I want to share a few tips that I have learned just through my Mary Kay journey. I have shared with many of you that for the most part, in my 20s and in my 30s, I really wasn't wearing very much makeup. And the reality is that one of the reasons why was because I just didn't know what the heck to do. So I didn't know what to do, and it was frustrating. And it just became something that would take longer than I wanted it to because I found it so just so overwhelming. So I'm here to just share some tips that I've learned through my years in this journey. And I'm also obviously going to be sharing information about the contest and how to enter the contest. You do not have to enter the contest. However, if you check out the link that I will be providing to you after this YouTube tutorial, you're going to see that different walks of life, when it comes to women, they have entered into this contest. So we have women of all kinds of backgrounds, of all ages, of all just it's just beautiful to see how amazing and different we each are. So please, please, please consider entering yourself into the contest. And also during this tutorial, you will have access to special deals because you participated in this event. So that's another thing that you're also going to have. I will mention how to access the link as to the contest as well as the special deals at the end of our time together. And feel free to comment, be it that you comment on the replay or during the actual live. That way I know how to best meet your needs. If you have any questions about anything you see today, or you have you're curious about a little bit more guidance with how to apply a certain part of our makeup, definitely either comment below during this stream, or also you can message me directly. Okay. So, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but right now I actually do have some makeup on already. I have found that actually starting with eye makeup is more, it just works for me a little bit more that way. And the reason why is because for some of us, when we apply eye makeup first, what happens is, or when we apply makeup in general on the eyes, what happens is sometimes you have these little particles that start to kind of fall onto the tops of our cheeks. We call it fallout. And so for some of us, that can be frustrating because we already put on our foundation and all that great stuff. And so we have to wipe it off, and it just becomes a little bit of a mess. So if you know what I'm talking about, you're like, yeah, I really don't like that. Then start with your eye makeup first. So I don't have eye makeup here. Can you tell? But I do have eye makeup here. So in a moment, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our eyes. You don't have to do that typically, but if you kind of like that idea, maybe in the next few weeks as you play with makeup, maybe try with your eye makeup first and see what you think. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try a more modern look, and modern in the sense that it's timeless. It's a look that it could have been used a few decades ago and still is a beautiful look that you can definitely wear today without looking like you're standing out too much. So that's what we're going to be trying today. We're going to be trying pinks and browns. Pinks and browns are beautiful together. So if you haven't played with pinks and browns yet and you like what you tried today, just know that palettes like these may be great options for you. So what we're going to try today technically are these three shades right here. This one is called Rusty Gold. And by the way, for your samples, they're all also labeled by name. So just kind of make sure you have everything out ready to go if you're trying it alongside of me today. So this one is Rosy Gold. This one, I'm sorry, rose gold. Sorry about that. This one is rose gold. This one is dusty rose. I've gotten them mixed up. And then this one is espresso. Now, the way our palettes work, our palettes come unfilled. Here's one that's almost unfilled. As you can see, some of it is unfilled. So that is how our palettes typically come, unfilled. I actually like that because it allows you to customize your palettes. I don't know if you can relate to this, but sometimes when we buy palettes that are already filled, we end up liking a portion of those shades, but not all of them. Next thing you know, those shades run out, but then you're stuck with the other ones that you barely use. So you have to ask yourself, all right, am I going to use these shades that I don't really like? That's why I'm not using them all the time. Or do I just, go buy another palette and kind of be in that same situation? So I love that we get to customize them. So these are the three we're going to be trying. Now, this one over here is called Blossom. This one would be a great one to put on first on the base of your eyelid. And then what I like about having 4 shades is that it gives you the opportunity to maybe use just these 3 sometimes, just these 3 sometimes. So it gives you the option of doing different combinations, which I really like. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started first with rose gold. And I am going to show you a couple of things that you may not have. And just keep in mind that these are options that you can add to your makeup collection to make your experience a little less frustrating. I think that's part of the reason why I was frustrated so much, was because I really wasn't allowing myself to have, not that I necessarily need all the bells and whistles, but when we choose not to have quality brushes, or we're, not necessarily, getting a few things to make it a little bit easier to apply, then we end up being frustrated. So I'm going to go ahead and get my all over eye brush. So this is my all over eye brush, and I like this one for my eyelid. And I'm going to actually show you a technique here. So whenever you want to apply eye makeup and you want the shade to be kind of lifted off of the palette in a more intense sort of way, so that it looks more intense on your eye, I like to use finishing spray. It wets the brush, obviously, but then finishing spray acts as a product where it will allow it to stay onto the skin in an even longer way. And of course, it's going to pull the color even better. So I'm going to go ahead and get rose gold, and I'm going to go ahead and, excuse me one second, I always forget. I need to look at the mirror. I've learned that it's better for me not to apply by looking at a computer screen. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and get rose gold. And all I'm doing is I'm just patting it all over my eyelid. Okay. So get that brush. If you have several brushes, whether or not you're using a Mary Kay brush or not, just make sure that you get the brush that has kind of like the most real estate, if you know what I mean. It's a little bit bigger. It's not necessarily fluffy. I'll show you one that I have that has the bristles are kind of more expanded. So just go ahead and get rose gold and just pat it. And you can take it up higher too. So you can take it all the way up to the brow bone, and have it work as a highlight too. And I say highlight because up at the top of your brow bone, like right here, having a lighter color is really nice, because it really highlights the look, and it brightens your eyes. Okay. By the way, I mean, just look at how droopy my one eye looks. This eye, the one I'm just getting to, this one looks so droopy. Why? Well, because this one has eyeliner and mascara. So just see what the eyes do. If you're not much of a makeup person, just look at how lifted this eye looks because of eyeliner and mascara. So even if you're not much of a makeup person, just going out with a little bit of eyeliner on your eyes and a little bit of mascara gives you that lifted look, which, ladies, anytime that what we have on our face looks lifted, gives the appearance of youth. So if you want to look youthful, you want to keep things lifted. And so eyeliner and mascara does a great job of doing that. Okay. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my crease brush. Now, if you don't have a crease brush yet, this is what I meant earlier. Having a crease brush is going to make makeup application much less stressful. So if you like the idea, when you see other women wearing makeup and you notice that kind of like on their crease they have a darker shade, a lot of times when they're looking straight at you, that's the shade you can see kind of towards the top. So if you like that look, you probably should invest in a crease brush. Ours is just $12. So getting a crease brush is great because can you see that angle? That angle allows the application to go on so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and get Dusty Rose. And then all I'm going to do, and I always tap a little bit just so that extra, again, trying to prevent the fallout. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Dusty Rose. And now notice that I'm using the angle. So that's why I really like a crease brush because it helps me. It helps me with my application. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look how pretty that looks already. Do you see how that's already darkening right there? Oh my gosh, I love it. By the way, another thing I tend to do, this is another reason why I like doing my eye makeup first, is I tend to kind of let it kind of start the look for me. And then I move on to coverage and all that great stuff. And then at the very end, I kind of do one final look at myself in the mirror and I ask myself, how do I like the look? And a lot of times I kind of grow into loving it more and more as I build on the rest of my look. And so chances are, for me at least, I end up being very much more tempted to add even more vibrancy to the color. So I tend to come back to the crease one other time at the very end of my makeup application, just to kind of, I don't know, accentuate the look even more. So keep in mind, like, even though we're doing our eye makeup first, that doesn't mean you have to settle for how it looks. Okay. Just know that give yourself, and if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like it, give yourself some time, do your coverage, do the rest of your face. And chances are, I promise you that you're going to grow into loving it more by the time it's all said and done. Okay. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? Like, look at that. Okay, and by the way, one more thing before I move on to our third shade. So watch what I'm doing. I'm taking, as I'm doing the crease, I'm basically taking it pretty much to the center of my eyelid. Okay, so I don't go all the way. You can, and that's where you can start playing with it. I tend to stop around there with my second shade. And then the other thing you can do is to think about kind of like a V shape. And by V shape, I mean here and here. You see how that looks like a V? And so basically, you want to take it not only to the crease, but then bring it down a little. Do you see how I'm doing that other part of the V? And just kind of bring it down just a little. I love that with even I think I love that more when the shade is a little darker than this one, but it is a really good look. Like, look how pretty that looks. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are gonna add, by the way, if you want to stay there, that's fine. So just keep on, especially for the makeover contest, I want you to play around with your look. I want you to feel like you're doing what you feel more excitement about. Okay. So if you want to pause there, chances are you can still use these shades a little bit more. So if you want to pause there and kind of love this look first and then build upon it another day, totally fine. Okay. However, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add some brown to it. And it is helpful to have multiple crease brushes. You don't want to get into the habit of using the same brush for the same colors, because that's another point of frustration, because even though we think we're kind of cleaning things out, chances are that the transfer of color is kind of mixing in a way that may not necessarily be what you want. And so then you end up being a little bit more frustrated. So I am going to add espresso. Now, I'm not going to use espresso as much as I use Dusty Rose. This one, I'm only simply going to watch how I apply it. I'm only simply going to dab it almost. So I'm going to dab it to the far corner of my eye. Okay. And notice how the dab looks. Okay. Now, at this point now, and obviously I'm not stopping there. At this point now, just so I can see how it's starting to look, especially because espresso is a little on the darker side, I'm going to take my blending brush. This is, again, another tool that's so important, is the blending brush. If you like the idea of multiple shades and you're not necessarily confident with how it looks when you've played with it, have you used a blending brush? If you haven't used a blending brush, oh my goodness, make sure you use a blending brush, because it's going to soften what you've done. It's going to allow the colors to blend together. It's really like that last piece that you truly need. For me, I think a lot of times I won't fall in love with the look I've done as much until I blend. So and this is how you know you have a good blending brush. Look at how wide the bristles are, okay? And it has more of a fanned sort of look to it so that it can move a different way. Oh, here's another tip I forgot to mention earlier. Again, trying to make your application easier. If you hold your if you hold, sorry, it's rainy out in Maryland. And so my hair is like having a not so great day. I don't know what the weather is like for you guys, but in Maryland, it's been like rainy, like almost like the last 3 days. So anyway, here's another tip. Hold on to your wand, to your tool towards the bottom. So I want you to think about the tool as being thirds. You want to hold it at the bottom. When I do appointments, especially my in-person appointments with women, one thing I've noticed about their application is that they're very rigid with how they hold the tool. And because they're very rigid with how they hold the tool, the application is just more harsh and honestly less enjoyable. So if you allow yourself to just be a little looser with how you hold the brushes, the more soft your hand and wrist are going to be, and the more soft really the look is going to be as well. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to basically go to where I put the espresso. And I'm just going to start blending. Now, what I do to blend is, let me get my mirror again, is I just kind of go in a circular motion and I also go upward. That's the other thing. Again, talking about the whole lifted thing that I mentioned earlier. Um, Even applying, you see how it's softening up? It's still a little harsh, so I'm going to get in there again. But what I was saying was even the motion that we use to apply, we want to go upward. So everything, it's all about, again, up, lift, right? Because the more we bring things up, the more it's going to bring out this youthful appearance. So what I mean is anytime you use a tool or you apply eye makeup, especially, you don't want to drag down the look. In other words, avoid using a downward motion to your application. So I want you to look at what I'm doing. Even though it may appear that I'm going down, I'm not, because what I'm doing is I'm blending it upward and then I lift and I come back. So I'm actually not going downward, even though it may look like I am. Okay. And so I'm just blending it in. And this is the part where I have to ask myself, do I want more espresso? Do I not want more espresso? Sometimes what I'll do, ladies, is I'll move on. I'll move on. I know I've blended enough for now. And so I'll move on. I'll do the rest of my eyes. I mean, sorry, the rest of my face. And then I'll come back and I'll ask myself, but look how pretty that looks. And again, I could add more brown if I want to, more espresso if I want to. As you can tell, what I did was I literally just dabbed it at the edge. So if I want to, I can maybe remember what we did with rose gold. I'm sorry, Dusty Rose. I'm getting them all mixed up today. Sorry. But with Dusty Rose, I took it from here to here. Well, maybe espresso, I can go from here to maybe here. So feel free to like play with that. Okay. That's the fun about this makeover, right? We're just playing. We're asking ourselves, what do we like? Right. And all of us are different. So I'm going to pause there and I'm going to go to the rest of my face. Okay. And so what I'm going to do now, ladies, is you all got 2 pods, okay? One of the pods had a clear kind of mixture to it. That is our primer. So get the pod with the primer. It's going to look like this. I actually don't use much. A little goes a long way, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and apply my primer. Now, our primer does have SPF, which is great, because if you're not getting SPF in your moisturizers, I know that we have several moisturizers that we offer. I offer for my customers, but some of them don't have SPF. And so you have to use SPF, ladies. Make sure you're using SPF. So if your moisturizer does not have SPF, then this is a great way to easily bring SPF to your skin. And not feel like, you're skipping out on that very important way to keep your skin looking good and youthful. So the primer, what is the purpose of primer? So first off, obviously I mentioned this one has SPF. The second thing is it's going to smooth your texture. If you have texture issues, if you have like acne scarring, for instance, it's going to smooth it out so that when we apply our foundation or our CC cream, it doesn't cake onto like our creases, our crevices, our texturized skin. Does that make sense? I'm sure you have seen women out there that wear foundation, and in some ways it unfortunately highlights all of her skin issues, if you know what I mean. And it just makes her actually look older, and we don't want that. So it's all about, again, proper knowledge of how to use everything, and also just having access to the right stuff for you, right? So that's why using a primer is fantastic. And so you just apply it all over the skin. It feels fantastic. I love it. And now we're going to go on to one type of foundation. This is probably the most popular type of coverage for the customers of mine. And this is CC cream. And what CC cream is it stands for complexion correction. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am currently working on these little spots that I have on my cheeks. And so using CC cream, it's going to correct that complexion issue so that I have more even skin tone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my CC cream. I'm actually almost done with mine. And I'm using my blending brush. You can use your fingers, totally fine. So you go ahead and use your fingers. And now I will say with CC cream, we only carry 5 shades. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say, it's like there was something I was going to say and I got distracted. A little bit goes a long way. Did you see how much I just happened to apply to this brush? It really wasn't a lot. It was not a lot at all. So just go ahead and know that you probably got more than you needed. Actually, I'm down to a little bit left. So hopefully I don't run out while live on this. I do have some behind me, but I just don't want to have to get up and pause our time together. So yeah, so you chances are you have a lot more than you need. So what I would recommend for you, see, look at that. Can you tell? Look at the difference already. So this side has CC cream already. I have yet to put on this side. So anyway, a little bit goes a long way. You probably saw that I didn't have too much. I'm currently struggling putting on putting on some more CC cream. Maybe I can grab one real quick. Hold on. Oh, I think I got some more. Don't you just hate when you're running out of like, all your products? Okay. So that's why it's good to sometimes even buy like 2 at a time. So I might have to turn around and get some real quick. But at the same time, I could easily snip this off. I just don't have a pair of scissors with me. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's see if any of these happen to be my color. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're gonna use. I'm using medium to deep. So speaking of the shades, so the great thing with CC cream is that it's not like foundation. In that foundation, as many of you know, we have so many different shades. So many different shades. If you go to any brand, lots of different options, and it can be very overwhelming. And so one reason, again, for me, someone that wasn't really doing a lot of makeup when she was younger. When I was introduced to Mary Kay CC cream as a regular customer, I fell in love with it. And the main reason, see, now I think I put too much. So you really don't need a lot, ladies. Okay. Don't feel like you have to use the whole pod. You can always use the rest at a different time. Let me see if I can clean this off here for a second. But yeah, so the great thing with CC cream is that we only carry 5 shades. And the reason why we only carry 5 shades is because that's all we need. The great thing is that those 5 shades can cover a wide range of skin tones. So it will be more forgiving as you get darker during the summertime. It'll be more forgiving as you get lighter in the winter time. Oh, here's another trick, ladies. When you apply foundation or CC cream, make sure that you apply it in like kind of like a circular. You don't want to paint. Again, it's all about our application. You don't want to paint down. Okay. You just kind of want to go in circles almost to blend it in. Okay. So you just kind of nicely blend it in. So yeah, so I think a lot of women prefer CC cream over foundation because of its simplicity. It also is a little lighter onto the skin. So if you don't like the heaviness of foundation, then that's a great option too. So, and now look at how my skin tone is more evened out thanks to the fact that I added CC cream. I love it. Okay, so with that said, now I'm going to show you another thing I do with coverage. By the way, the other thing too, I want you to know is that, believe it or not, foundation, CC cream, those two options can actually be considered skincare. Why? Well, because it actually will create a defense against the outside environment. Like, think about that, ladies. When we're outside in the environment, all of the gunk, all of the free radicals, that's the fancy term we use, all of that gunk is getting onto our skin. And essentially, what's happening is as it gets onto our skin, it potentially can age our skin, right? So those are things out there in the environment that technically aren't good and healthy for our skin to take in. So you want to defend against it, and so having foundation creates a barrier so that doesn't get onto your skin and really truly damage it. Okay, so what I'm using right now is our setting powder. Watch my skin right now. There is a luminous sort of look to it. A lot of us like it. I like it too. However, I really love adding this as my last step to coverage because I feel like it just creates a more flawless look. I also think it gives me more of that like airbrush sort of look that I like. It just does a really pretty job of just smoothing everything out. It's amazing. What do you think? Okay, so that is my setting powder. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into blush, which, by the way, the funny thing with blush, I was reading up on this because I'm excited to do this with you. And so I was reading up on blush and just like the history of blush and, whether or not women enjoyed using it or not. There was a gap of time, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but there was a gap of time where a lot of us women were not really using blush anymore. I actually meet with a lot of customers, and they say that they don't usually use blush, but blush is having a comeback. So if you have like avoided blush before, just know that, as we play with blush today, that it is something that is absolutely coming back. And if you enjoy the look that we have today with the blush, that why not add that to your collection? So we're going to be using this one down here. This one is called, I think it was Rosy Nude is the one that we're using for our look. Yes, Rosy Nude. So we're going to, oh, by the way, this is what I do to cheat. Right there, Rosy Nude. Okay, so we're going to be using this one. By the way, I now am showing you two different palettes. This is our Petite palette, the one with 4. And this one that I'm holding is called our Perfect palette. You can add a blush just like you saw here. And again, giving you the option of customizing. You can also put eyeshadows in here. So 4 shadows, is it 4 or 3? No, I'm sorry, 3. 3 shadows would fit in here. So you could do like 2 blushes here, 3 shadows, and 3 shadows. So, and again, that's where I can help you kind of customize it and see what you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead and get the blush, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to my look here. And I don't do anything special about my blush application. I just kind of, and this is our cheek brush. Our cheek brush is great in that it has like 3 different components to it. So if you wanted to ever contour, this part you would use to contour. This part you would use to highlight. So do you see how it's a different shape? And then smack in the middle is where you would apply for the cheek brush. It's the small little things. There's a little indent there that you can hold as you apply the cheek blush. You know what I mean? Hey, you too can be on YouTube, right? Okay, so I'm just applying here the cheek, my blush. And you see how it gives this beautiful natural glow. I mean, that is beautiful. And again, if you want to stop there, you can. If you want to enjoy the rest of your look first. But I like that kind of dewy sort of like natural pink blush to the look. I think it looks beautiful. Okay. And then the other thing I do at this point is I do put a translucent loose powder. This is great for a couple of reasons. It's going to make everything last longer. Funny enough, when I tend to like skipping steps. I am lazy by nature. And so when it comes to the translucent loose powder, I was telling women, you should use this, you should use this. And guess who wasn't using it? This girl wasn't using it. And it wasn't until I was at a Mary Kay, our big Mary Kay conference last summer. That, being around all those beautiful women, I was like, you know what, Amy, I should probably put on a little bit more of that translucent powder and enjoy, letting the makeup stay on longer. And I will tell you, I would go by it was a day long thing. These events are very much many hours together. And so by the time I got home, looked at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, my makeup is still on. Like, this looks great. And it's because I was using the translucent loose powder finally consistently. So yeah, so you just saw me use it. I'm using my favorite brush. Oh my gosh, this poofy brush has such an amazing feeling on your skin. It's big, it's fat, I just love it. So I use it for my setting powder and I use it for my translucent loose powder. The other thing too is in the summer, as you deal with like the extra sweat and the extra oil maybe on your face and just the summer meltdown of your makeup. Have you ever felt your makeup literally almost melting down from your skin? Translucent powder also is great for absorbing those extra oils and that extra shine. Sometimes when I kind of just need a little bit of a revamp to my look, maybe I was working all day long and then I'm shifting over to enjoying a nice dinner with some friends, just applying a little bit of that loose powder all over my skin to kind of absorb that extra oil and move on to my next thing. I have found really, really helps. So, ladies, how do you like so far everything we have tried? So, look at just how my look is coming to life. How are you, ladies, loving everything? At this point now, I have the lip color to put on, but then I also go back to my eyes. Now, some of you might have some eyeliner that was in your bundle. If you don't have Mary Kay eyeliner, that's fine. Just apply whatever it is that you have. I am in love with the liquid eyeliner. Here's another thing about that I looked at. One, again, just our theme of timeless look. One popular look that's coming back is the winged look. So, can you tell that I'm doing one right now? If you like the idea of a wing look, and by the way, when I first even thought about doing the wing look, I thought to myself, Amy, really, you're going to do that? Like, you're going to look as an Amy. You're going to look like Amy Winehouse. That is not what you want to necessarily look like, because, that's just not my style. You're going to look like you're trying to be someone else. And so I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not a winged. But you know what, ladies? I tried it and I looked at myself. I'm like, I really love that look. So if you've been interested in, um, sorry, sometimes this takes me a little bit of concentrating. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so see, if I can do it, you can do it. So with the winged eyeliner, I do think that the liquid eyeliner is more forgiving. So if you want to try a liquid eyeliner, or I'm sorry, a winged look, definitely look into our liquid eyeliner pen. I do think it's more forgiving. There's a better glide that will let you create that winged look. So if you want to play with a winged look, and I'm happy to give you tips on it, since we don't necessarily all have a liquid eyeliner pen right now, I'm not necessarily going to go into what I just did. But if you want to, I'm happy to work with you, because if I could pull it off, you can pull it off. I promise you. For those of you with a traditional eyeliner, a quick tip that I learned, and I don't have one with me, an eyeliner right now with me, but I'm just going to show you. If you have, this is not an eyeliner, sorry, for the eyebrows. But anyway, if you have a traditional eyeliner, a quick tip two tips that I learned early on. First, shorter strokes. Shorter strokes, shorter strokes. So don't feel like, and you kind of maybe saw me do it with a liquid eyeliner, but I do even shorter strokes with a traditional eyeliner. So basically, like, you just want to be like doing a motion like this. And again, upward. Don't start from the top. Go from the bottom and go upward. Okay. Remember, we'll want everything lifted, everything up. So from the bottom, you just basically do those short strokes. Now, the other thing is, and I actually noticed with my look in just a little bit, Some of us, I started to do it with mine. Some of us, when we put eyeliner on, they'll end up being a gap. What do I mean? You have your eyelashes, then a little gap where your eyelid is, right? The beginning of your eyelid, and then your eyeliner. And that gap technically is not supposed to be there. It's just there because of how you applied the eyeliner, right? And so some of us might find it frustrating because you see this gap where you can see your skin, and then on top of it, your eyeliner. I hope that makes sense. So a trick that I have learned is to start putting your eyeliner, again, I'm talking about the traditional eyeliner, to put your eyeliner from the bottom of your lashes. Now, you are going to still go on the top like you normally would, but you by putting it on the bottom of your eyelid of your lashes, and you literally can feel your lashes with the tool. That's how you know you're doing it the right way that I'm describing it. So you basically are going to go on under your eyelid, and you're going to touch. You can even see my lashes right now moving, and you're just going to touch on there, and just again those short strokes, and that's going to close that gap so that you don't feel insecure about how the eyeliner looks. So I hope that makes sense. And then, by the way, I think I probably need to go back, but look at that. That looks fantastic. And then grab your favorite mascara. I hope that it's Mary Kay, but if not, totally fine. If you are in need of mascara, ladies, your mascara needs to be replaced every 3 months. So please make sure you are replacing your mascara every 3 months, even for ladies that don't use it often. Okay, because it's going to start getting more clumpier. Bacteria can grow there in this tube after having it for so long. So you definitely want a mascara that is on the newer side. Okay. Right now I'm using our lengthening mascara. I love it. Now, oh, the other thing with eyeliner is I typically don't put eyeliner on the bottom of my on the bottom, but you can. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that as well. So, ladies, that is basically the look. Oh, one more thing. I always forget this one. One more thing is we're going to add Fancy Nancy to our lips. So when you have a chance, oh, I need some satin lips. I have not done my satin lips treatment in a while. So when you're ready, go ahead and apply your, sorry, got a little dry skin there. When you are ready, go ahead and apply the Fancy Nancy. And I think most of you have this one. This one's Fancy Nancy, which I also saw that as I was kind of looking up information for the event, I saw that one kind of look that's becoming more popular again is getting lip liner, putting that on first, and the lip liner being a little bit darker. So like let's say for us, like medium nude, that's one of our lip liners, medium nude. So getting medium nude as the lip liner, putting that on kind of to outline our lips, and then adding a lip gloss. So that is a look that I remember was popular when I was in high school. And it's a look that you will still see nowadays. So if you want to play with that, if you happen to have a lip liner at home and you want to play with that as you do your contest submission, you absolutely can. So ladies, that is the look. What do you all think? Again, sometimes what I'll do as I wrap up my look is I go ahead and I may look at my eyes and I ask myself, do I like how the dark part looks? If I feel like I want to, I'll add just a little bit more. And sometimes by that point, I just kind of dab it. I don't really even blend it that much. So I'll just kind of put it in, and I may see, look how pretty that looks. And I may blend just a bit, but I barely put anything. But that extra bit just pops it. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look pretty? So again, like if you want to just add a little bit more, go for it. Okay. So let me tell you what to expect next. All right. So what to expect. In a moment, I am going to give you a word, and you need to text me that word. Text me that word. That way I know that you were able to hop on. I do see some ladies are on. I'm just not sure who is who. So that way you can confirm to me that, hey, Amy, I did indeed watch it. So I'm going to give you a word. That way I know that you were able to watch the tutorial and that you were able to try everything. If for some reason you didn't try it right now as you were watching, totally fine. You can still message me the word. Now, when you message me the word, two things are going to happen. I'm going to give you the direct contest link so you can submit your picture. You will see that once you click on that link, you're going to see all the variety of women that have entered the contest. And just know that you are just as beautiful as they are. So if they're putting themselves in the contest, so should you. So that will be the first thing. And know that. I think it will ask you for some of my information, my phone number, my email address. I can give that to you as well. That way, they know which consultant entered you in. Okay, so I'll give you the contest list, and the other thing I'm going to give you is our party, not party, our specials that are attached to the fact that you participated in this event. So the magic word to send to me is contest. So when you have a chance, text me the word contest, and I'll give you the contest link, as well as the specials that are attached to this event. That way, if you tried anything here that you want to add to your makeup collection, we can go ahead and add that with the extra savings that are attached to this event. So, ladies, on behalf of on behalf of all the women in this world, I just so appreciate that you have taken the time to accentuate your beauty, to play with your beauty, to get to know the beautiful person that you were made to be. And I just hope that you had a little bit of fun with me today. All right. Have a good Sunday. Bye bye.